Konami has just announced 4 more new cards for the upcoming OCG sets, Limit Over Collection Heroes and Rivals. And these are not just any ordinary new cards. These are all cards from the anime, which are cards that fans have been wanting to see for a long time. And I'm not going to waste any time. I'm going to get straight into it because all four of these cards are absolutely insane. Absolutely incredible. Incredible artworks. They're just busted. So let's get down to it. Kicking things off, we've got a card from the Awaken the Dragons arc of the DM anime, Underworld Circle. As if the photo will load. There we go. Wait. There we go. So at long last, after almost 20 years, Underworld Circle finally gets printed, and it is a continuous spell, and it says that you can only activate one card with this card's name per duel. The first effect reads: activate this card if there are 5 or more monsters in each graveyard. Destroy as many monsters on the field as possible, and then each player banishes all monsters from their deck face down. Then you can summon a normal monster from your grave. Second effect reads: once per turn during the standby phase, each player can special summon one monster from their grave, ignoring its summoning condition, but banish it when it leaves the field. This is actually kind of crazy because this is a really good way to literally just. This is a really nasty way to out pretty much everything. Like, it can literally just outs everything. It can out Yummy Mitsurugi. It can out Raziel Mitsurugi, Monarch Mitsurugi, because there aren't a whole lot of cards in all those decks that can take cards from the banish pile and put them back into the graveyard, aside from Burial from a Different Dimension, and I think that's it. But I think Burial in modern in modern Yu-Gi-Oh, it's not as impactful as it would be in formats like Hat format, Edison format, Tengu format. I know I've worded that a bit differently, but you guys get the idea. Especially in Edison, because if you're playing Vayu Turbo, you can go Burial and take all your Vayus, take whatever cards that are in your banish pile, but at least one of them has to be Vayu. Put them back into your grave, and then go Vayu effect again. It's super busted. Super busted in Edison. Pretty busted in Tengu format, because if you do have cards that are banished, you can theoretically you can take what's it called? Excuse me. You can take oh my god. I'm like trying to remember the play with the Vayu Turbo in Tengu format with the Burial. I think was it Vayu Turbo? Or was I think it was something else. But even also in Hat format, if you have a bunch of dragons in your banish pile, you can go Burial and take 3 of your dragon rulers, put them back into your graveyard, and you're just off to the races from there. But with Underworld Circle, this card is actually kind of sick, because it can out, again, as I said, it can out Yummy, it can out Raziel. The only problem is that it cannot out Malice. That's the only problem. It cannot out Malice because of the fact that With Malice, they want to banish their cards to get their effects off, which is the only downside. So this card against Malice, bad matchup. Against decks like Yummy, against decks like Yummy Mitsurugi, Raziel Mitsurugi, Draco Tail, Monarchs, it literally is a nasty, nasty card. And honestly, I'm actually kind of excited for this card to get printed in the TCG, because once it does, I can guarantee you that this card is easily going to get banned the first ban list that this card gets released. 100%, wholeheartedly, 100%. Next up, we've got Master Spirit Tech Force Pendulum Ruler, which I don't think was that ever seen in the Arc 5 anime. I think it was. I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to watch the Arc 5 anime all over again, but I think it was. I don't remember. But let's see here. It is a 12 star Light Machine Fusion Pendulum with 3,500 attack, 3,000 defense. The pen scale is 1. The pen effect is a once per turn, and it has four monster effects. The third effect is a twice per turn, and it requires a level 7 or higher pendulum monster plus another pendulum. The pen effect reads as followed. During your main phase, you can return this card to the extra deck. Then you can add a level 7 pendulum monster from your deck or face of extra deck to your hand. It's not bad. I wouldn't say it's good, because there aren't a whole lot of pen decks in the format that run a bunch of level 7s. Like maybe what is it? Fucking I think like Odd Eyes Arc Pendulum Dragon, the original Odd Eyes Pendulum. That's about it. I don't remember much about the deck, but I think that's it. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But the first monster effect reads that it cannot be destroyed by card effects. Second effect reads, your opponent's monsters cannot attack except pendulum monsters without a level. Third effect reads, you contribute 1 monster, then target a card your opponent controls, destroy it, and if you do, inflict 1,600 damage to them. Fourth effect reads, once per turn, you can place this card in your pendulum zone. Okay, so here's what's very funny, right? If you go battle phase with this card and you attack over everything except for one card, then you can go main phase 2, effect tribute effect tribute, like let's say they're, let's say your perform hell Skull Combat Joker. Let's just say you pop that last card that your opponent has and deals 1,600 damage. And the irony of it is that if your opponent's life points is exactly at 1,600, that's game. This literally can potentially threaten lethal, which is insane. And again, you can actually use that third effect twice in a single turn as a way to force out the game. Literally force out lethal, which is absolutely nasty. Next up, we have Gatling Ogre, which is actually one from the 5Ds anime. And if you guys don't remember Gatling Ogre, this was used by Lawton. I think Lawton. What was his name? From the arc in 5Ds where Yusei went to this like old western town or something like that. Again, I need to rewatch the whole anime all over again, like from beginning to end, because it's been a long time. It's been a long time. Let's see here. Gatling Ogre, 3-star Fire Fiend, 800 attack and defense. The first effect is a thrice per turn, meaning you can use it 3 times in a single turn. Which reads, you can send any number of set cards from your spell and trap zone to the grave, inflict 800 damage to your opponent for each. Also, your opponent takes no damage from non-fiend monsters effects for the rest of the turn. Second effect reads, once per turn, when this card is targeted for an attack, you can inflict 500 damage to your opponent for each of their attack position monsters, then end the battle phase. Honestly, this is actually kind of a niche, like really like niche card in burn decks, because this card can easily stall out like literally everything. It can stall out everything, and it can force threaten lethal, which is very funny. And burn decks in 2026, it's not possible, but it's kind of stupid in a matter of speaking. But having 3 copies of Gatling Ogre on board, kind of crazy. And what's even more funny is that I believe the ruling, if I remember, I know that this is a new card that just got released, but I believe the ruling would be that if you have more than 1 copy on board, you can use them all at once, I think. I'm not so sure, but I mean, this card in burn decks kind of busted. But that brings us to the final card of the video. It is known as Infernity Doom Slinger. Case in point with the fact that this was also part of that same arc of the 5Ds anime. Kind of cool looking. And it is a 1-star Dark Fiend with a measly 100 attack and defense. Let's see here. Both of its effects are once per turn, and the first effect reads, during your main phase, you can special summon a fiend from your hand. Second effect reads, if you have no cards in your hands as a quick effect, you can banish this card from your grave. Your opponent chooses one of these effects to apply. Reveal the top card of your deck, and if it's a monster, your opponent takes any effect damage you would have taken this turn. Otherwise you take 4,000 damage. You take no effect damage this turn. Honestly, that's kind of funny because obviously your opponent is gonna wanna do the reveal, the reveal top card, and the funny thing is with Infernities, you're gonna be having just mostly monsters. So the fact that that's the case, you're nine times out of 10 you're gonna be seeing monsters every single time you use Doomslayer's effect, which I feel like Doomslayer is better off as a 2-of, but that's just me talking. I don't know about you guys. I feel like it's a 2-of, but with that being said, that'll do it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel and you guys want more card discussions in the future, then be sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and as always, make sure you guys are following me on all of my social media. All of my ads will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. It will also be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.